My name is Ryan Gavin. I'm the general manager for Surface. I have the good fortune to be able to spend time with our commercial customers from around the globe, talking to them about how Surface can help digitally transform their businesses, their culture. What we want to do in this session, hopefully keep it fun, high energy. I want you to hear from our engineers. I want you to see the products. I'm going to talk a little bit about how Surface is helping devices how devices are helping companies digitally transform. And then we're going to have some good time for Q&A. And then we've brought some really cool stuff in the back, some of what we call kind of our museum pieces of the artifacts of how we build Surface that lets you see into the devices. So we're going to end and let you go in the back and spend some time with our team and ask questions, kind of take a look at the thermals, kind of dig and geek out as much as you want. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Yeah. Lovely lady in the white sweater. What's your name? Sherry. Can I ask a small favor and put you on the spot? Can you come up here for a second? I promise it'll be worth your time. Yeah, just for 1 second. Can we invite Sherry up? Sherry did me the honor of showing a little bit of energy in the room, so I want to do her the honor of giving her a new Surface Pro. There you go. You get the keyboard in the back, all that kind of stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I know day 3 is hard. I may have more. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know if I have more. Oh, see, now you get it. Yeah. The dogs can be taught. No. All right. So let's jump in. What's going on with the modern workplace? What's going on with devices? There's this interesting thing. Digital transformation is obviously a big theme. We're talking about it a ton. This idea of digital transformation can be a little bit of a misnomer in some cases because it puts the emphasis on digital, when the reality is what's happening across companies is across culture, it's across their workflow, of course it's across technology, in cases it's about space. And we are probably at the slowest period of time for digital transformation spend that we'll ever be in our history. Right now, the spend on DT is growing at about 18% CAGR, and it's projected by 2020 to reach $2 trillion. $2 trillion of companies are trying to digitally transform. This stat really resonates with me, and in the conversations I get to have with CEOs around the globe, 2/3 of them have digital transformation at the heart of their corporate strategy. And if you look at kind of the agents of change, the things that are driving this, some of them are familiar, some of them are new, but they all present some limits and some challenges. You know, CEOs are being asked and thinking about moving into new and adjacent industries to remain competitive. At the same time, they're struggling to keep their existing customers, let alone attract new ones. Millennials are changing the workforce dramatically. Right now, it's estimated by 2025, millennials will be the dominant workforce across the globe. Millennials have a very different set of criteria when evaluating whether they want to work for a company or not. They look at the devices and technologies in the space that you provide as a key decision maker for whether they want to work there or not. And one of the biggest challenges companies face today is attracting and retaining talent. About 50% of all teams' time, kind of the average employee's time, is spent in collaboration, but at the same time, there's a 150% rise in people working from home. Like, we have these interesting dichotomies of challenge of culture and attracting and retaining talent, and this idea of creativity is another interesting and core challenge. That's awesome. We're all friends here, so it's okay. If next time it says Surface rocks, you'll get a Surface Pro. How about that? When you talk about creativity, there's this interesting dichotomy that's happening. 83% of workers are saying they're asked to be creative on a daily or weekly basis. But at the same time, those same workers are saying only 40% have a company culture that actually encourages and supports creativity. Like, in some ways, we're failing our people, and we're struggling to make sure that we're providing them the tools and the capabilities to unlock that creative potential. And this is absolutely where Surface begins. We look at these limits. We look at the things that are causing us to not realize that full potential, to tap the most important asset, which is our people. And we say, what can we do with the device capabilities? What can we do with the integration across Microsoft to help free that up? How can we create new categories of experiences that can allow workers to stay in the flow? And this is a journey that we've been on now for almost 5 years. How many people have been on the Surface journey for that long? That's awesome. Thank you. You guys know this. It's funny, when I get to go and talk to folks and share a little bit about where Surface is going, a bit of the history of Surface inside of Microsoft, we used to get the question a lot like, hey, are you guys serious about this Surface thing? Like, are you guys really into the devices business? You're a big software and services company. Is this something that you're really committed to? We don't get that question anymore. Like, we genuinely don't get that question anymore. When people see the roadmap, they see what we've done with Surface Pro and how that expanded into a whole portfolio of laptops, the introduction of Surface Studio, Surface Hub. People know we're serious, and in fact, we're taking it even further, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But just to kind of give you a sense of some of the progress we made, I want to play this quick video, so take a quick look.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yeah. You. Come on up. I love the energy. Thank you so much. Here's a new Surface Pro for you. So there's a cool thing that's happening right now. If you've been spending time going to the sessions, been talking to folks, you've heard about this thing called Microsoft 365. And I want to spend a second talking about its relationship to Surface and how to start to think about how our journey is changing right now. Surface really got into this space to think about how can we create these new categories of devices that would fundamentally free up the human potential, that would inspire people to do amazing things. And something's been going on inside of Microsoft as we think about our Microsoft 365 vision. We think about how do we unlock creativity and build for teamwork. We've understood and realized that that Surface mission is now time to get more expansive. Satya talks about this idea of Surface devices being the best expression of Microsoft 365. When you touch a Surface device, you should be able to realize the full investments that your company is making in Microsoft 365, from the features, from the capabilities, from the integration. The portfolio of devices that we build should pull together more seamlessly. And so this is a new focus for us as we go forward. We're really starting to think deeply with Windows, with Office, with Teams, with OneNote, with our enterprise mobility and security solutions, manageability. How do we bring this together so it's the best instantiation on a Surface device and across the portfolio of devices? The cool thing that'll happen, because I know many of you raised your hands and you've been with us on this Surface journey, if it felt like at times like Surface was this amazing thing that was happening at Microsoft, maybe it felt like a little bit of a sidecar. Maybe it felt like it was adjacent to the mothership. What this does, and what Satya has been pushing us to do, is to bring Surface right in line with the core company strategy around Modern Workplace. Modern Workplace is one of our core solution areas, and Surface is now core to that solution. So what you should see and expect from us is deeper integration, deeper payoffs across the entire Microsoft stack, still showing up on those beautiful devices, those premium devices that employees love. So what I want to do is I'm just going to take a couple minutes and touch on how Surface is starting to show up in these areas, and then we're going to do a little bit of a demo, and then I'm going to invite our engineering team up for a little bit of a Q&A, if that sounds all right. First area is unlocking creativity. 72% of all workers today say they believe their future success depends on their ability to be creative. 72%. In a world where we have more data than we know what to do with, in a world where AI is taking our systems and tools and allowing us to be more efficient with the things that we spend our time and energy on, it's our ideas that differentiate us. And creativity sometimes gets kind of articulated as the new productivity. And I think about it a little bit differently. I think creativity is what unlocks productivity. And I think creativity shows up in all roles: IT, finance, HR. It's not just designers. It's not just developers or marketers. Creativity is about this inherent nature to express what is uniquely ours and help us differentiate and innovate in the marketplace. I'll tell you what, I have 4 children, which is ridiculous, but I have 4 children. All of us are born to be creative. I remember the first day I brought home the new Surface Pro, which now 2 of you have. I may have more, we don't know. And I gave it to my kids, and it was awesome. First thing they did, they detached the keyboard, they grabbed the pen, they dropped it down into studio mode, laying on the carpet, and just started creating. And it was just so magical to sit there and watch. And then I watched my own patterns. I took a flight out here, a long flight. Didn't stream the Seahawks game, that was a bummer. But I took a long flight out here. I watched my own patterns. I just subconsciously going through. I'm on the flight, started off, it was Sunday morning, thought I had to be productive, I'm cramming away. I'm working as like a laptop, I'm getting work done. Then an email came in where a team member was asking me to review a PowerPoint. Like without even thinking about it, I grabbed my pen, pushed Surface down into studio mode, and I started writing my feedback. It was the most natural thing to do. I never even thought about the device. And my team was able to see my feedback and my written comments. I was circling things I was excited about, putting exclamations over areas I thought they just nailed, saying, hey, I'd love to ideate more. Like I was able to express myself the way I wanted to express myself. And then I realized it's Sunday, and so I should probably like take a little time off. So I kicked off the keyboard, started reading. All those modality changes, all those things happened seamlessly. I never once thought about the device. And that's what we want with Surface. And it's really starting to make a difference with companies and employees. There's these stats I wanted to share with you. There's a new survey that was recently done that looked at productivity and creativity across the portfolio of all devices in the industry. 96% of employees say Surface makes them more productive. 91% say Surface helps them express their creative ideas more effectively. Remember that stat I told you earlier, 72% of employees say their future success depends on their ability to be creative. What are the tools we're giving them to unlock that? These numbers are 10 to 15 points higher than Apple and 15 to 20 points higher than any other Windows device, which is crazy. But the device we give people can help unlock creativity. The next area I want to talk about, oh, sorry, not the next area I want to talk about, the next video I want to show. We had a Create and Cultivate conference back in Seattle. This was about 3 weeks ago. And it was bringing the top women from around the country into Redmond to hear what they're doing with their brands, with their companies, for us to learn, for us to exchange ideas. And our team got to sit down and share Surface with a lot of these women. You'll recognize some of them are quite famous. And one of the things I was inspired by, one of the reasons I wanted to show this video is when we talk about creativity, when we talk about opening up the opportunities, one of the most important things is diversity and inclusion. How do we make it available to everybody? Thank you. It matters a ton. And if we've all been in that room, when it's a show and tell kind of conference room where someone's standing at the front, 2 other people are talking, and 70% of people have their heads buried in the laptop, that's not inclusion. And how can devices bring out that other 70%? So I want you to take a look at this short video.
I'm Sonia Dar from the Surface marketing team, and we're here on the Microsoft campus for the Create and Cultivate conference. Sarah has been doing some awesome calligraphy on paper, so we decided to give her a Surface to see what she could do with it.
It's nice because my hands have been getting so stained today.
Yeah.
No staining now. Oh my gosh. That is so much easier.
Every month I do worksheets and quotables, and the quotables are all designed on Surface with my pen.
We also have a Surface lounge that we set up with all of our family of devices for them to come touch and feel and try them out as well.
We're playing with the Surface Studio, and I have my lovely model.
think one of the common misperceptions about technology is that it's not a creative space, and then yet it is one of the most creative spaces.
We bring our Surface to show our product because we want to be able to work with it and feel it.
I'm very tactile, so the fact that I can take my clothes with Finery and drop them with my pen right into my outfit.
An absolutely phenomenal day here at Create and Cultivate here at the Microsoft campus. I'm so glad we were able to all team up together, especially us here at Microsoft Surface, and help foster this conversation.
Kind of cool. I was inspired by that. Hopefully you guys are too. Next area is this idea of teamwork. I'll tell you, it's amazing right now what's going on with collaboration. I gave you that stat earlier, around 50% of people, or average employee spends about 50% of their time collaborating, while at the same time 150% rise in people working from home. Like if I ask you to picture back to your home offices, how many could tell me with perfect clarity which conference rooms you avoid like the plague? Right? About a third of all conference and meeting spaces are avoided by employees. Like it's the place where ideas go to die, right? And everyone knows what they are. And then I was talking to the Steelcase partners the other day, and they're like, yeah, and it's the places where all the old chairs end up too, which I thought is absolutely right. Hub is not just about meeting spaces, but it's changing the collaboration that we're seeing across the industry, genuinely changing it. How many have been the lone individual on a video conference call where you're trying to talk into a room of 20 people who are in person and you're on the other side of that? It's like the worst feeling on the planet. You try to engage, there's crosstalk in the room, you can't really follow the conversation. When you do engage, you're really not sure if you're making an impact or if they're hearing you. Like, it's emotionally draining. And after a while, you just disengage. And like, how much of our employees' time and energy gets lost? How many millions and billions are wasted through employee disengagement? There's no clearer sign that a company is transforming than when I see a hub inside their organization in their collaboration rooms. It changes one-way meetings from an I to a we. It takes presentations into interactive discussions. It gets people up, it brings active energy. It takes that individual who's on that under that conference call in India and makes them feel like a first-class citizen. They can see the room, they can see the crosstalk. When they speak, because of how we position the cameras, we're looking at them in the eye. They know their points are being heard and valued. They can whiteboard and participate in a whiteboarding session. It fundamentally changes the dynamics. Hub is transforming the work group. And I'll tell you, we've been at this Hub journey now for a little over 15 months. And if someone knows a stat that tops this one, I'd love to hear it. I've talked to a bunch of press, I've talked to others, I haven't found one yet. Hub penetrated the Fortune 100 up to 50% right now. 50% of the Fortune 100 have a Surface Hub in just 15 months since we launched this product, which is very, very cool. And I love this quote. I see Surface Hub as being a magnet for collaboration. It's a magnet for collaboration. And that's when we think about democratizing technology, when we think about getting more and unlocking the creativity, devices like Surface Hub are enabling that in major ways. Simplicity. One of the things I mentioned at the start was this idea that Microsoft Surface devices coming together with Microsoft 365 should be able to tap more of the investment, more of the end-to-end value and integration across our stack. When we talk about simplicity, when we talk about security, those show up in spades. Things like Windows Autopilot. I'm sure you all know about it by now. I'm not going to go through it, but to be able to drop ship a device to your employees at their home, shrink wrapped, let them open it up, connect it up, get provisioned, get it all set up on your network and have them go. When you have mobile employees, this matters a ton. Surface, and part of the investment that we're making as being the best device for Microsoft 365 means you can always count on Surface to be first and best for these types of new capabilities. Surface is the first device with Windows Autopilot, and that pattern will always persist. If you can look at other things that we've done, like Windows Hello, you see that exact same pattern happening. Consistent experiences. How many people have organizations that are moving towards shared workspaces? The idea of having a single Surface link to connect in, to allow people to connect not only power, but their monitors. Having our peripheries work across our device portfolio versus having things be exclusive to individual devices. How do we enable that across then the Windows experience and the Office experience? the simplicity of the design of the operating system on Hub to make it more approachable for people to walk up and just start engaging, to get straight into that whiteboard session and make that thing more approachable. These are the types of investments that we're going to do more and more and more of. Security is another area. Obviously, security is a huge focus point. Hopefully some of you are familiar with like Surface Enterprise Management Mode. The ability to go through, down to the firmware, set settings, disable things like the USB, disable a whole set of peripherals around that device, so you can take the same type of user-loved permissions and you can take that all the way down to the device permissions. Things like biometric identification. I mentioned Windows Hello. You get that wonderful two-factor auth. There's a period of time when I talk about being first and best on Surface, there's a period of time, there's almost a year in the marketplace, there was only one device that had Windows Hello capabilities. It was Surface Book. That's because we spend time with the Windows team. One of my favorite meetings happens at 7 a.m. on Thursday when it's the most senior engineering leads across Microsoft Teams, across Office, across Windows and Surface. And I'm watching our product makers ideate together and work through this kind of stuff to enable these types of solutions, to enable these types of things, to ensure that it's always going to be first and best on Surface. BitLocker, you guys know deeply about that kind of stuff. The last one is probably my favorite. I talked about this notion of attracting and retaining talent. Let me tell you a little story about a deal that recently crossed my desk. It kind of made me take note. I won't disclose any customer details because that'd be inappropriate. But across the globe, there's a lot of large companies that collect taxes for a living. So you can imagine what that feels like from a recruiting standpoint. When they show up at a university and they're like, hey, we want you to come work for us. I'm like, what do you do? Well, we collect taxes. That's tough. That's a tough sell. There are companies across the globe that are bringing Surfaces in because it's the ultimate expression of how you value your employees. The statement of bringing in new employees, retaining existing employees. And so this deal that recently crossed my desk, someone was telling me, hey, like, we just won this major deal, X thousands of devices, they're all excited about it. I was like, well, that's fantastic. I'd love to hear about it. And then tell me a little bit more. They're like, well, it's really fascinating. They brought in a whole bunch of products into the cafeteria for the employees to take a look at. Let the employees get their hands on them, touch them, and then employees could kind of vote, say which product they wanted best. Votes came in. Surface was a clear winner. The Surface Pro is what they were looking at in this case. Clear winner. Then the gentleman in the procurement office got involved and said, hey, you know what? When we look kind of spec to spec, when we look at the device itself, I think we have to go another way because it's like $200 more. And you know, it would be crazy to spend $200 more when it kind of looks comparable from a specs perspective to these other devices. That'd be silly. The HR manager found out. HR manager got involved and said, are you crazy? Like, do you know how much it costs us? Do you know how much we spend as a company to bring talent in? Do you know how much it costs us when an employee leaves? Do you know how much it costs to retrain new employees? $200 per employee ain't nothing when you're talking about our most important asset. Get them Surfaces. And that entire deal went all Surfaces. And we're seeing that more and more and more and more. When ideas and our creative thoughts are our most important asset, our employees are what brings those to life, and our employees want to feel proud of what they take out of their bag. I'm a middle-aged man, which is weird that I just said that out loud, but I am. On my flight over, no kidding, this happened 3 weeks ago. I was flying across the country, had my new Surface laptop open. Gentleman next to me said, like, what is that? And he was asking me. And then after a little bit of conversation, talking to me, he said, can I touch it? And he wanted to touch the Alcantara fabric. Now, I'm a 48 man. I was proud when he wanted to pet my laptop, which sounds weird to say, but I was very proud. There's an emotion that we have with these things. There's emotion, like when you open up in Starbucks, you want to feel proud of the thing you're pulling out of your bag. We spend so much time around the design of these devices. You're going to see in the back how that design comes to life and all the stuff under the covers. We spend so much time so that this becomes real. So that when employees ask, when you're given Surface, how does it make you feel? 94% says Surface makes them feel like their company's investing in them. That's huge. 97% of millennials say using Surface makes them feel proud to work for that company. Think what you would do to make your employees feel proud to work at your company. It's a huge 95% of information workers saying use Surface has the right tools to get their job done. They feel empowered. It's the emotion, it's the IQ and the EQ coming together that really can help transform our workforce. I want to show you another video. This is of a company and a team that spends a lot more time thinking about recruiting than probably any of us. This is from Clemson University, so take a quick look. Whoops. Did the video get queued up? Is it going? Okay. It's a very dark video. It's kind of got like low thematic themes. There we go.
At Clemson, we recruit 365 days a year, whether it's a student, student-athlete, fan, or a potential fan.
Clemson's a little special place in this country. It's 2 hours from Atlanta. A lot of people don't know where we're located. So how do you get your message out?
We hear our coaches say all the time, oh, if I could just get a recruit to come to campus, they'd see why this place is special and they'd want to come here. We had all these amazing things going on, but we weren't necessarily doing a great job of capturing and sharing those things.
So we created a technology/social media team, which tells the story of Clemson Athletics and Clemson University.
The Clemson Tigers Creativity Studio is a new project. It's a partnership between athletics and CCIT's Center of Excellence. So it will give us a physical space where we can come together to try to take Clemson to our recruits, to try to answer what is it like to be a Clemson Tiger.
It's imperative that we have access to technology because that's where the creativity comes from. That's where we figure out what we're passionate about and what we like and what we don't like and what we're good at.
Microsoft was the right decision because they are the leader. As Coach Sweeney has said, best is the standard, and Microsoft is best of the standard.
Being able to use the Surface books to storyboard and write out shot lists, utilizing the Surface Studios to do the editing from start to finish, and then being able to screen it on the Surface Hub.
You just feel like you have so much more control, whether that be over editing or drawing on the screen. It feels like you're writing on a normal piece of paper. It's so responsive, there's no lag time at all.
We're using OneNote, we're sharing PowerPoint presentations, we might be sharing documents, we might be in Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, Illustrator.
Having really advanced technology departments, social media, helps us in recruiting and retaining student athletes in our program.
We pride ourselves of being the national leader in this content and creative team and creative studio output.
We've added over 2 million fans and followers to our social media accounts, generated over 70 million video views, and that work was created by students.
I can't wait to see what the new students are doing with these computers, what they started, what they figured out, what they've created because they've had access to a Surface.
I love that story. I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm going to let you meet Frank and Sonia, who are going to show you some cool stuff. Sound good? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Is my mic on? You guys, great, awesome. So Frank and I are super excited to share with you just the power of our Surface portfolio. And like he mentioned, it is the device for Microsoft 365. It's built from the ground up alongside Windows and Office to really help you unlock creativity, and they're built for teamwork, all while being done simply and securely.
You know, what I love about these devices is the opportunity that when you look at a Surface, you know, you start with the keypad and you've got, of course, the keyboard and the trackpad on it. But of course, the next steps you can do is you can add a mouse to it and a dial. But inherently, the device is consistent. It leads to natural user interface. It means that I can interact with the content through pen and touch in ways that allow me to freely express myself and work the ways that I want to.
Yep, so we're going to do a little thought experiment today. We're going to pretend to be industrial engineers today, which we're definitely not.
No.
But we're going to be industrial engineers today that are tasked with identifying a location to build a new airport terminal to help with some of the recent congestion in air traffic. So I'm going to throw this off to Frank to begin on our Surface Pro.
Thanks, Sonia. So what we're looking at here is a Surface Pro, the new Surface Pro, loaded with Excel. And the one thing that you can see is we've loaded this Excel file just with a tiny data set of 108 million rows of data, right? So we're taking a device that some people would say, hey, that looks like a tablet. That looks like something that I would, watch a movie on. But in this case, it is doing serious calculation work from 11 data sources, including cloud-based sources that we have out there. So if I was to look at this data, in this particular case, I could actually see where is this data coming from? What are the ranks of the airports and the different sources in the countries? And so when I actually go back and look at my dashboard, and I remove, say, my query line, I see here that in the United Kingdom alone, that the UK is actually tracking the highest amount. So if I come over here and click on the growth button, what's taking place by just clicking on that growth button is 750,000 calculations just took place in that amount of time on this Surface Pro, right? Whether that's i5, i7, the power of this device is the power that you need in order to get that work done. And what we see here is still that the UK still has the greatest amount of opportunity for growth, and so we need to lead towards that on perhaps building something that will adjust to that capability.
Yep. So, Frank has told me, all right, we should focus on the UK, so I'm going to go in and I want to visualize some of the specific flight patterns and data that are happening around the UK. So here I am on my Surface Studio, and I'm using NUI Graph, which is out of our Microsoft research team. NUI is the key word here, which is Natural User Interface. So here I am able to touch into my graph. It's right now sorted by longitude and latitude. I can play around using either my mouse, my keyboard, or what's cool is with just touch, I can go through and I'll be playing through the different flight patterns. I can also touch it with my fingers, and you can actually see the different altitudes of flights coming in. You can see some of them are eastbound, some of them flying westbound. But imagine I really want to kind of get immersed into my work, and I decide to put this down into studio mode. I can put my full weight into it, and I can really look and feel and get into my work. Using my Surface Dial here on the screen, I'm able to go through that range, and I can quickly fast forward through, looks like we're in peak daytime of all the flights coming in, and I can actually track and see some of the flights. So here we can see there's Heathrow Airport in the north, and it looks like we have Gatwick, and clearly a lot of flights coming into the Heathrow area, maybe something that we should perhaps focus on, and I would make the recommendation over to our team that we should open a terminal at Heathrow to help with this.
That sounds like an awesome idea, so let's bring in the power of the Surface Hub. So here we have our 84-inch Surface Hub. Let me get out of my presentation mode here and bring up, in this case, our Bentley Navigator application. So let me load the application. Oops, 1 second. And so what we see here is we can come in to actually take a look, excuse me. Let me load the data set. 1 second. And so it'll take the second to actually load that data set, and now we can actually go in and visualize this terminal. Now, being able to visualize this terminal is a powerful experience because it gives the builders the ability to totally immerse themselves into the content, but also understand not only what is it going to look like, but what is this going to cost us, right? With an application as powerful as this Navigator application, I can actually come around to it and actually do a fly-through into the actual airport itself. Whoops, let me be a little bit more consistent towards that. Take a step back out. Let's go in this way. And so being able to be inside of here, I can actually come in here and actually turn on layers to look at things like ceiling tiles and different pieces so I can actually understand the concept of being able to visualize what's in here. But what I really want to do is maybe take a snapshot of this and actually start marking this up in our whiteboard. So in this particular case, I'm going to come over here and hit our snap button, and that'll take a picture of it and actually pull it into our OneNote whiteboard. And so now I can take a snap of it and be able to pull it in. And now what I can do is not only can I have this piece, but I could say, hey, this may be where the new United location is going to be, and we can start talking about isolating down to understand what is that going to look like. Now, what's interesting here is that I can also take this and make this a collaborative whiteboard, Because not only could Sonia come over here and start working with me, because this device supports up to 3 pens simultaneously, but I could also use this content to actually reach out and share it with somebody and co-author on this whiteboard. So the first thing we have to do is actually come in here to Skype for Business, and I'm going to pull this over onto my side of the screen. Make sure I don't fall off the stage. And come in here and actually come in and say, hey, I've got a call scheduled, one touch to join, the promise of Skype for Business, and it'll actually add me to the call, and I can actually now start collaborating. And so what takes place is the ability that I'm now actually creating not only a content sharing bridge with Sonia, but I have a video bridge with her as well as an audio bridge. And I did this all by walking up to this device without any sign-on at all in order to reach out and connect with Sonia. Now the thing that I really want to do is create a OneNote whiteboard that I can now actually collaborate on. So I come over here and touch the add section and hit start session. What this is going to do is it's going to move this whiteboard up to OneDrive for Business. It'll create content sharing links so that I can share that content with Sonia on the other side of the world. And so I hit copy, and then now I come in here to messages and actually just paste that straight into messages and be able to start co-authoring. Now she'll get that link on the other side, and she'll actually be able to start adding content to this whiteboard. Now it'll log her actually into the whiteboard, and she'll be able to start manipulating content and adding content to it as well. So as that happens, she can actually dump other graphics and other pieces into this whiteboard as we're collaborating on it. So we'll give her a second to see if that content is added. The other thing that's interesting about the whiteboard while that's taking place is the ability for me to look at the entire screen and see where content is actually being added. And so that when it's added to my whiteboard, I can actually see where it pops up. And then I can actually dive down into the whiteboard itself to see where it shows up in that particular section. So there we go. There's the content that Sonia actually just added from her graphics to the whiteboard, and then she's actually able to start working on it and manipulating it. Now what's really cool here is at the end of this session, what we can do is we can take this content and we can actually save it out, right? We can save this out. This is a OneNote whiteboard. It's not a PDF file. It's not just a picture file. It's actually a OneNote file so that if you mark it up, it has all the constructs of OneNote and all the power of ink to text and other pieces. So I could save that to OneDrive as a OneNote file, or actually save it out onto email. So now we have kind of that next step and those action items to actually take it to the next step. So let's talk about taking this to the next step.
So we've been fortunate enough to determine, all right, Heathrow Airport, that's our target audience, and we want to get our friends, our new friends at Heathrow excited about this. Excited about our new terminal that we're going to build in their home. So imagine doing something as simple as sending a piece of paper to all of the employees at Heathrow Airport. They'll be a little confused. They're like, why is it blank? A little perplexing, but you can kind of create a little bit of a teaser for them by saying, hey, click on this link to see what your new home's going to look like. Link will take them to a viewed mixed reality application that you can handle from any Surface device. It just taps into the standard RGB camera, and what it allows us is you take your camera and you point it to that simple white piece of paper, and then right there you see the 3D model pop up of our new terminal.
Is that
pretty cool, right? Any Surface, you can take it.
Is that an airplane flying by?
You can see a little airplane flying by. You can move around and you can see how it stays locked onto that location.
Flying over the mouse.
I can go into the interior. And then what's really cool, if you want to show them like, hey, this is what it'll be like when you're standing inside this airport, there are little hotkeys that you can click into. And now they can look at what it would be like if they're standing inside. Pretty cool. You can evangelize, you can show them exactly what it'll be like and get them really excited for our construction.
That is awesome. So let's give a little review of what we just did. We used the power of the new Surface Pro in order to stand up and make calculations with the big boys. We then took the time on the Surface Studio and the natural user interface capability to immerse ourselves into this data, tilt, move, use the dial to actually transform time. We visualize the device on the Surface Hub with the Bentley Navigator application, as well as the collaborative whiteboard. And all of that we then brought together towards great new ideas towards what we can visualize using a Surface Pro on this device. So I think what we really want to do is turn it back over to Ryan, and so he can bring up our engineers who build these great devices for us.
Give Frank and Sonia a big hand.
Thank you.
Isn't that cool? Like, and you come afterwards, I'll show you what this piece of paper looks like. It's just a flat piece of paper, picks up the endpoints. But think about how these devices can then spark imagination, the creativity. Think of what your employees could do with this stuff, right? It just opens up new ideas. So I want to bring up two of our most senior product makers. In the world, they're called engineers. Inside of Surface, we call them product makers because that's what they do. Just to have a little bit of a conversation. I'm going to ask them a few questions, but I want you to tee up things you want to ask them. So you can ask them. We'll have a lot of good time for that. So please welcome Tim Gollock and Paul Bishop. Gents, how you doing? All right. So this is kind of an awkward stage, so we're just going to dance right up here. And for all you over the back, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm going to make eye contact with everyone over there, I promise. This is kind of an awkward room to kind of do the bimodal thing. Where should we start? Let's pick some new stuff coming out. LTE? LTE? Yeah, so we've announced LTE. Turns out this week the press is still writing about LTE. You know, LTE is not new. LTE has been around a while, but what does it mean when Surface does LTE? Maybe take us through what that vision looks like and how that's starting to come together.
Sure. First of all, can you guys hear me? Is my mic working okay? Yeah. Fantastic. As you've seen with some of the videos, there's a lot of care and feeding that goes into building any Surface device. We held a session just the hour prior on the specifics about LTE and all the tech behind it. And there was a question that was asked at the end that said, why haven't you done it in a prior device? Surface Pro now with LTE is the 5th generation Surface Pro device. And the question's a valid one. It's one that people have asked us before. Why not? Why hasn't it not come before? And the answer is, if we were to have done it before, it would have been a compromised experience. We would have had to make a variety of trade-offs that we just simply could not accept on behalf of Surface. Trade-offs such as having a big window cut across the back of the device because we hadn't perfected the way to make the antennas become absolutely invisible to the product. We would have had to reduce the screen size to get larger bezels to give the antenna team space to get the RF performance where we needed it to be. In some cases, we would have had to take out the fan to give us space to put the modem in, but we'd have had to throttle back the processor to not give you the highest possible processor performance, simply to manage the thermal dissipation across the device. So a lot of different factors have come into how we've built LTE in this device, and a lot of it is taken through that pursuit of building an uncompromised product. It's not just to saying, hey, we're going to take time and go iterate and hack and work and, we'll get to it. There's a lot of energy gets applied into, it's not yet good enough. We wanted to bring to market Surface Pro with LTE in an uncompromised way. There shouldn't be trade-offs for connectivity. You shouldn't have to accept a lower screen size or a smaller screen size dimensionally. You shouldn't have to accept a thicker device. You shouldn't have to expect cosmetically a difference. It should be the same. It shouldn't matter whether it's a Wi-Fi device or a Wi-Fi and cellular product. So that attention is what drives us. It's what drives the investments. It drives the engineering team. It drives how we spec the products, the partners that we work with. It drives a lot of the things that we do. So just again, thinking about one of the questions from just an hour ago, Ryan, that's what comes to mind for me is, there is a pursuit, there is a lot of passion that goes into this, not just for building a new product like laptop or studio. Adding a capability like cellular is no different.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it ties back to that idea of the premium nature of what we're trying to do and the meticulous craftsmanship that these guys put into these products. It all then manifests itself in that emotional connection that we can then have through our device. And I think when you guys get to touch and feel our new LTE capable Pro, I've seen it and it's just stunning. If it's hard to think about adding LTE, making the device look better, but that's exactly what these guys have done. And you'll get a chance to take a look at that soon. My man, So we've been talking all about natural user interface. How do we get out of the way, let people do things the way that they want to do it versus kind of the way that we've taught them to do it. When we think about that journey with Surface, take us through where we're at, how we're thinking about it going forward, what we learned.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ryan. We love touch, we love pen. Slight digression. I've been bold enough. Was my mic okay? You guys got me?
Oh, it might not be on there.
Nothing. Green light is on. I will keep talking loud until something comes along. I'm doing my best microphone thumping. There we go.
All right.
Thump on it till it comes to life. So I'm also a slightly older middle-aged man than him. 30 years of industrial career. And when I started my career as an engineer, we did things tactile. We touched drafting boards. We had pens. And we just got our thoughts straight onto the medium. And then along comes computers, and you get these weird keyboards and mice, and it's this weird way of translating from your mind to the physical. And from the very start of the Pro line, Pro 1, pen was the way we were going to interact with these devices. And Panos, right, visionary leader we have, he was like the weird pen guy on campus. He's like, no, pen, that's where it's going to be. And Windows, oh, that's stupid. We have mice and keyboards. We sell mice. What are you doing? No, pen, that's where it's going to be. And we pushed that vision and we evolved it to the point where a couple of years ago now, you see pen across all of Windows, right? And we see that we can use pen across all of the software. We can use pen across all of the hardware. And it just makes sense, right? You had to teach somebody how to use mice and keyboards, like with your kids.
Yeah.
Like when you want to express yourself, it's just natural. So pen and touch, huge for us. A year ago, a new modality, dial, right? Another very intuitive way of being able to do things where you want to pivot and select. So when you're able to just write on and talk to your computers, that'll be something.
It's pretty powerful,
and
yeah.
That's where
And voice and things in the future as we continue to think about Cortana and all that kind of stuff. You can expect from us kind of that idea of making it more natural for our employees to work with our devices and more seamless, as you were seeing Sonia in there leaning into the Surface Studio, using the dial, using the pen,
magic.
using a touch. Like you don't even have to think about the computer. You're just using it whatever the way it feels right to you. So I'm going to ask, because we do these presentations, they get the fancy glossy videos, everything looks kind of cool and perfect. But real life isn't that way.
Come on.
So you guys have been on this journey for many, many years. Give us some of the road rash, if you will, like some of the war stories from the things we've learned, places where we've fallen down, picked ourselves up, how we're getting better. And I'll toss it to both of you guys. You can.
But last night over drinks, couldn't we have done this?
Yeah, probably easier.
This is an alcohol conversation. If I'm going to do it sober. So I've been part of Pro since the very start of Pro 3 development. Fortunate enough to come to work at Surface when it was a risky thing to do, to start on Pro 3. And I joined I joined a team that had got the ball almost to the end, and it just needed to be kicked over into the goal, and I got to be part of that. But they've been scratching away on Pro 1 and Pro 2. There was something there, but these were thick. There was like looking through a mailbox, and it wasn't until, okay, 3.2 screen, make it thin, make it very powerful, and then that rush for an engineering team to have a product that does a hockey stick, because these guys give us hockey stick drawings all the time of market share, and sometimes they happen, usually they don't. But for a team to get to experience that, and then to have customers experience that, was an amazing rush. We come off that, another 18 months, Pro 4 and book, very humbling moment for us, as there were some real reliability issues that we shipped and that we got very strong feedback. We learned from them, but that was a heck of a, from that high to a pretty low, because we love these things, we love our customers. And we learned from that. So we learned a lot, we put processes in place, we do things very differently. The product now, new Surface Pro, one of the most reliable PCs, laptop, one of the very most reliable PCs in the market right now. So it's a journey, and again, the highs are more fun than the lows. Of course, you learn more from the lows, don't you?
For sure. Yeah. Anything you want to share, Paul?
The story I think that for me comes to mind, again, I'm focused a lot on our cellular product, and there's some new technology that we've put into the Pro LTE. The tech is embedded SIM. An embedded SIM, it is an integrated version of what you're all familiar with. It's in your smartphones, a removable card. And we've been working with our Windows colleagues to bring the embedded SIM story to life. And it's a difficult story because it's not just us and Surface. It's not just Windows. It involves mobile operators, and it involves investments that they need to make as well to start to digitize your subscription profile. The future state will be you will simply log in through your device and get a profile downloaded to you, just like you'll see an image via autopilot. And so the evolution of this tech is coming. We chose to build embedded SIM in this device as it's technology that's coming. It's one that we want to be a part of. There's a seamlessness to the story that tell you, don't go to an operator shop anymore. You don't have to. Click on the Windows Store. You'll be able to see your operators and go download a profile. And this technology is new. It's brand new. We've got hardware, but we need software from Windows. And we reached a moment several months ago where there was a user experience gap that we came across because we now have 2 SIM card slots. We have an embedded SIM and a removable card. And we found that there was not yet the user experience in Windows to make the user very aware about which is active and how to manage these 2 things. The right level of messaging wasn't being presented to you that says, hey, you have a choice. What do you choose? Do you want A or B? And for me, it became a grinding down moment of like, holy cow, we're about to ship this device with potentially a very severe issue. You might get trapped. Like if you pick embedded SIM or you may not know about it, how do we bring this tech to life? And in this story, it's a bit of the culture of Surface because for me as the technology planner that reached a moment of, oh no, we might need to deprecate this and wait till we get UX to kind of come along with us on the journey. Actually, it was this guy and his team that said, we'll find a solution. And over the weeks that followed, what came to life was actually Surface is building now some UI on top of Windows to go bring this messaging to life, to go deliver that user experience. And it was the patience, it was the fortitude to say, you know, this is tech that we want to bring to life, even though we're not getting it through the operating system team, because they'll pick this up and they'll go bring this back into a future release of Windows to make a real rich experience. The Surface program team came to our save us, to really save us with this technology and saying, we're going to go solve this.
We're going to do it.
And now there's going to be some notifications and toasts that come up to go help improve that user experience. Only being a part of this company would we have been able to do that, because I have worked in building Windows devices outside of Microsoft, and there's just some limits that you have on the outside. You can't have the full control and capability that we've been able to engineer here. So we're now in a position to actually bring this new tech to life. We're able to go bring it to the market, start to learn and iterate and make it richer over time. And had it been in another context, we would have had to have stopped, said, shoot, we have a hardware solution, but not a great software solution. Now, with the work that the Surface Pro team has been able to do, we actually now bring together a good experience.
It's a fun story. I forgot, that was just like 3-4 months ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
I forgot that.
Yeah. That was fun. My nails are growing back.
It's the dog years, yeah.
It was a close one.
I love that story because it is the reflection of what I was talking about earlier. Surface devices should be the best expression of Microsoft 365 that comes when these things, the software and the hardware, come together. I'm going to ask one last question. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. So if you have a question, get ready. You kind of inspired this. You guys took me through this not too long ago. This life cycle of innovation. How do we ideate? I'm not going to let you disclose anything you're not supposed to disclose.
Thank you.
And so when we talk about future roadmap, I'm going to keep you honest. When we think about where we're going and how do we apply this life cycle of innovation, talk a little bit about what that starts to look like as we look ahead.
Yeah, and some of you were in sessions that Paul and I did prior. It's this evergreen cycle of we agonize over product in 87 in Redmond. We fail fast, we get a lot of ideas out there. We find the ones that work, we prototype using cardboard and duct tape so that we can quickly, when the good idea hits, it's like, oh, that was a good idea. We make products then, right? We make prototypes at our factories in Asia. We gear up for production. We work with these guys to get them out, and then we listen, right? And we come to stuff like this and we listen, and we go see customers and we listen. And then it sparks another idea. And this whole cycle keeps going. And it's amazing the scale and the velocity. And again, this is the power of being part of Microsoft. I think one of the 3rd biggest companies in the world, if I'm not mistaken. the scale and velocity and the resources we have to take this, which if you're in product development, this is a common chart. You've seen something like this. But the scale and the talent and the magnitude and the vision, right, where the company's going.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch this space, because you can take all these trends that you're seeing here, and right, I don't have to disclose anything. You can just start imagining where they could go, and holy crap, it's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, and these guys actually brought along a video that we don't share too much, but it's of our what's called Building 87, humbly named, but it's the design lab where all this kind of magic takes place. So take a look at this video, then we're going to get your guys' questions.
The moment you bring physical representation of your idea to a decision-making table, everything changes. To make a product, you really have to engage in a whole different level of problem solving. And no product is ever designed by one person. We've been able to bring all of our diverse talent across engineering and design and prototyping under one roof. It enables inspiring each other from your different ways of how you look at the world. You know, an engineer can inspire a designer, a prototyper can find the next engineering solution. And by all working together, we dissolve into this group of product makers. We have to look beyond our disciplines in order to push things further. Because only if you look beyond your discipline, you understand that the greater goal is not only to be the best in your discipline and win a design award or something like that. The greater goal is to make a product that people love.
One of the things I'll encourage you guys, if you have a desire to become a Surface Insider, be one of our kind of our Surface fans, if we think about it, we have a program now, and some of the times we have an opportunity to bring people through that lab experience. And so I'll encourage you to kind of take advantage of it. If you go to there's a device immersion experience on the expo floor. There's a place to sign up to become a Surface Insider. And so there's a lot of cool things that we get to do, talk, early access to events and things like that. So I encourage you that. So with that, I want to stop and turn it over to you guys. Questions you guys have. There's some mics here.
Line up at the mics.
It's easier if you line up probably at the mics, then we'll go from there.
There we go. We have a taker.
Hi. Yes, I have a question on adoption. Yeah. So how are you finding organizations adopting the technology? Because we are mostly iPad because our standard is the iPhone. So there's continuity. So when I see something like a Surface, I think it's probably for us, I could see that as a good solution. We've rolled out tablets in our branches, and you talked about multiple people signing on to the device. We had a lot of challenges making that work on an iPad. So I'm thinking that a Surface might be good for that, but curious about how you're finding companies adopting.
Yeah, certainly. There's been an amazing trend, if you will, of companies, particularly with kind of mobile workforces that have had iPads or iPad Pros. And what they found with those employees is that they're still sometimes carrying a PC, and they're kind of using both and kind of dual work scenarios where they've got it for maybe it's medical pharma, and then they go and do real work on their PC. And so what we find is the Surface Pro has been the perfect device for that because it is a laptop, and we think of it as a laptop, but of course it has that tablet functionality as well. And so there's been a strong mode of adoption. In fact, the Surface Pro kind of created this two-in-one category about 4 years ago. It's been the fastest growing category for the last 4 years, growing at double digits. And so when you think of kind of maybe one of our all hallmark products that's really doing well in the enterprise as they think about building out that full ecosystem, Surface Pro is that. And I'm happy to even connect with you more later on some specifics, some companies, and give you some ideas there.
And the Surface Pro was that one?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The one that you saw where the magic lit up and the Heathrow and all that stuff. That's
I
the
sure
Surface
wish
Pro.
I had one to try it and compare it against the iPad.
God dang it, come here. I love it. What's your name? Tanya? I want your whole company to have these in 6 months, okay? Get the type cover back. You're gonna you email me. I'm gonna track you. Okay, 6 months. I give you 6 months. All right, let's go over here. That was awesome.
All right, hi. My name is Paul. My job is to look at new technology to bring them into this company. So we saw the Surface Hub like last year and stuff like that. So back to your question, back to your comment about inclusion. So when I look at technology, understand Microsoft's front end piece, beautiful. You got a good vision, got good designs and stuff like that. My biggest issue is end to end. From number one, from an inclusion perspective, what's Microsoft's plan around global availability, global support? Because fine, I want to get a Surface Hub, couldn't get one at all. Half of our sales are outside of the US, and I cannot get your technologies into some of my countries where these have been built. Now it creates a problem for me. I'm trying to bring your entire vision into the organizations. I can't bring it in because it works in the US. No one else outside the US can benefit from it. I can't do the Surface Hub. I can't do any of those things. Someone in the US can do it. Same as the Surface Studio. I think it's great for our engineering people, but they are not in the US. They are building plants in China, in Taiwan, and in stuff like that, where we cannot get those devices at all. So what we see is there's a gap between Microsoft's vision about how it wants to go, but the back-end part, I can't find global availability. I can't even find support. I got one Surface in the whole company to let our director try. It broke down. I spent 4 hours trying to rebuild that thing because the Microsoft store was useless. We had no support at all. So I think Microsoft has a good front-end picture, but we don't see the back-end picture, which makes me very hesitant to recommend this for the enterprise. And I have to look at a tablet solution at the moment. I can tell you, you guys are not in my list at the moment because of that reason, actually. So trying to understand your strategy around this piece.
Yeah. You want me to take it?
Go for it, Ryan.
Yeah, so I'll just take most of that as feedback, which is great, and I appreciate it, and it's genuine feedback, and it's not new feedback. Let me just say it that way. I was meeting with some very important customers in China, and they were basically telling me how they were bringing in Surface Hubs through Singapore, even because we don't ship Surface Hubs in China. And they wanted the device so bad that they were buying it in Singapore and bringing it in. And I said, that's awesome, just don't tell me about it. To answer your question very specifically, we want to ensure that when we roll out Surface, we have that end-to-end experience of quality and that we can ensure we can support it at scale. One of the things that's changed with Surface over the time is that we've gone from what you could have argued our origins was a little bit more consumer-centric. We've now shifted, and our orientation is now starting to be increasingly organization-centric. Organization-centric first, even, if you will. Which means we think more and more and more about that global coverage than we ever have in the past. But it also means when we commit to a market, we want to commit to a market. Because the worst thing for you is to come in and come out. For us to try something, it doesn't work, and then get out of it. When you guys need consistency, you need reliability, you need predictability. So we're balancing, making sure that as we expand our global footprint, we're looking at those things and saying if we're in, and we're going to stay in. And so it may feel a little slower in some markets than you'd like, and I hear that, and just keep giving us the feedback. But know as we do expand our global footprint, which we are rapidly, that's going to be our model as we think about the organization so that you can have that dependability, okay? That's my honest answer on that one. That's great feedback.
Good feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Thank you. Great presentation, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Just a statement overall, I think what you've done with the service line from the Surface Pros, like many, we've been there from the very beginning. Your Surface Hub is incredible. We've been adding the Surface Hubs to our organization. We got 6 on order, and we plan to expand 42 more.
Awesome.
And 7 of those bad boys right there. I'm excited to get that in.
That's
now.
great.
So one of the things I'm really excited about is the collaborative whiteboard and some of the things that you announced where it's going to come across all platforms. Hopefully one day it'll be over the iOS, even though I'm not an Apple guy, but people do have them. So I'm looking for that support one day.
Okay.
My question is more around on the Surface Hubs for I know it's more of a collaboration piece, not so much a replacement for telepresence. But as we go to expand these, we know that you can hook up an external display to them but yet it only mirrors the device, which kind of stinks, if you will, where you like to make the video a little bit larger and put video, kind of slide that over to a separate display and then have the collaborative whiteboard. Is there any plans on a version 2 to where we may be able to support that?
Yeah, so again, great feedback, and thank you. I genuinely appreciate it. I'll take this one unless you guys want me to. I'm not going to share about future plans, but let me just tell you the feedback that I hear quite a bit in this vein is, as we think about this as a collaboration device, I really want to get into that collaboration, and part of that collaboration is then getting multiple screens around in kind of that ideation session where I can either use additional screens for that, maybe even projectors that can help facilitate that, but how do I take one screen, get into multiple screens in that kind of team collaboration? So that's consistent feedback where we've got as we think about our future roadmap and future capabilities. We do want to facilitate, I think you captured it perfectly, that this is not a front of the room device. This is kind of a side of the room device from a collaboration perspective, and then having that kind of multi-screen capability is a key part of that.
If I can add one piece to that, but you kind of accidentally introduced your product that way. As companies look at it, they look at it as that stuff.
Yeah, and I think if I even look around Microsoft, I'd probably say 30 to 40% of hubs even inside of Microsoft are put in the wrong room. I'll just say, because it's kind of a natural thing, right? We're all grown up with a long rectangular table. There's a big black thing at the end. We've been taught since we're this high that you don't touch that thing because it's expensive. And so kind of there's a cultural pattern that we have to kind of work through and break. And we've got to do a better job making this feel approachable, making this feel like people can come up, you can touch it. So it's work there, but those are things that we're leaning in on. Thank you for the feedback.
Okay, mine's kind of an engineering question.
Thank
I
goodness,
was waiting
I'm
in
done
line at
talking.
the first, RT, the Surface RT, and got that in Surface 1 and 2. But I stopped at 3 because you talked about thermal dissipation earlier. The 3 got really hot.
Pro 3 or Surface 3?
Pro
Okay.
3.
Yep.
And it would get really, really hot. So I took it back to the Microsoft store. They looked at it and just gave me another one. That one got really hot. So I've been really hesitant to get the new one because...
You want the new one?
Yeah, I don't know.
And we have...
How have you solved that?
So, and there's an engineering presentation, internal folks have seen it, that shows the thermal map, the hotspots on the back, and it's a great progression. For Pro 3, there's this red blister right here. It's incredibly hot. Sorry about that, sir.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is ice cold. Pro 4, there's more red, still though not the whole thing. So the thermal shots of the brand new one, again, passively cooled, we've got heat spreaders going the entire span of the device. It's pretty much isothermal now. You see a uniform gradient across this whole thing. So that hot spot up here, right where you also wanted to put your hand where the fan was on Pro 3, it's gone. So yeah, the i5, totally passive in this device, still 14 watts, full Core U power. i7 up to 18 watts, fan hardly ever runs, and when it does, it's fairly silent. So I would give you one if I could, but that's like his deal.
I know, I'd sure love to try one.
You should.
Yeah.
There's in the back there, when we're done, go to the back, because you can see under glass the actual undercovers of these devices.
I can show you the thermal.
And Tim and Paul can walk you through that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I represent the training side of the house, so thank you for recognizing the creative ideas that come from other areas.
Great.
And well played, Danielle. I'm really jazzed about the hub, and I would love one to play with myself.
You get one. You get one. My Oprah moment. No. If you can fit in an overhead, you can take it home. How about that? Yeah.
I've got connections at United. I'll make it work.
Yeah.
So regarding the hub, if I'm collaborating with, say, a vendor outside of my organization, I have no control over what devices they're using. How does that work when you're collaborating with somebody on a different device? Are there compatibility issues?
Yeah, so this is kind of one of those things where no one buys Hub for the device, really. People buy it for the software and the integration solutions. And so you saw Frank talking about Skype for Business for integration. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business for integration. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with Skype for Business that allows that connectivity across. So it's really about the software that's on with S not necessarily the hardware itself. So no, you don't actually have to have hub-to-hub or anything like that. In fact, the demo that you saw was Sonia was ideating on our Surface Studio, and she was collaborating back and forth. So Frank, the gentleman that you saw do a demo, when you're done, grab him, and he can take you a little bit more depth for how those, kind of what are the requirements for all that cross collaboration. But certainly our vision is you're on a device, you should be able to ideate with someone on a hub endpoint.
Awesome. Thank you.
I forget where we're at. I think
we're down there.
Hi, I work for a university in California, and the idea behind the Surface was really, really exciting for us when it was first announced. And we got our hands on a few of them, gave them to some key players, and only one person really fell in love with it. The others, kind of the day-to-day usability of it didn't match what they were looking for. It wasn't dependable enough. The battery didn't last long enough. The heat issues. We kind of got turned off to the Surface line. We have one at the whole school now who's in love with it. But I want to give you guys some props because I think I saw one of Tim's sessions yesterday where I went in just to see what the line offers now because I know some people are going to come to the IT department and say, hey, I want this. And it was really refreshing to see you guys be really open and honest about the process that you've been going through. And it's kind of in a backwards way gotten me because of your team that you were there and you had an engineer who was sitting here a little bit a while ago. It was really cool to get a huge room, but there was only like 50 of us there. And there people were really grilling you on why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why is this an issue? Why don't you support me in this way? And I like seeing that. And I'm honestly a lot more interested to come back and see what you guys have to offer again, because I see what you want us to see in this product, and I was just waiting for the quality to catch up with it. I mean, you spoke a little bit yesterday about someone was complaining about battery life, and the engineer came up and kind of inadvertently was like, hey, Windows is designed to be a desktop OS, and we're catching up and making it mobile, and so that kind of was built into the OS. I'm really interested to see if you guys can, something that Apple has the advantage of is they only build for Apple hardware. And now that you have a really nice line of Microsoft hardware, it'd be cool to see how the OS and the hardware could kind of be built for each other, because I think that's what's been missing is that experience. I grew up on Windows, but I've been using a Mac for the past several years, even though I need Windows in my work. We use VMs, we use, we dual boot, because, here at the conference, I get twice the battery life that my colleagues are getting, things like that, the real life usability. So just kind of feedback. Good job on what you're doing. But yeah, kind of in a backwards way, you guys are getting me interested to see what you have to offer again. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for your patience too. This is great. So
I know you guys can't talk about future products, but now that you're LTE on the Surface, is there any chance you can tell me you have a Surface phone in the plan?
No.
Oh. No, you won't
Next
tell
question.
me or no?
But I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate it. Nothing to talk about on that front today. Thank you, though.
I got a question about the usage and usability about it and how you measure that. You said you were 69% of the users find themselves more productive.
Yeah.
How's it being measured? Is there kind of a baseline, or is it a feeling that users have?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that in two parts. I'll give you the direct answer on that. That was the survey that was done by a research company, and that was gone through, and it was interviews and qualitative assessments and employees basically ranking their productivity and creativity. And so it was a self-assessment. That was the numbers that you saw. The question you're not asking, but I'm kind of inferring a little bit, is one of the conversations we've been having as we've gotten, I'll say, more mature in servicing organizations with the Surface mission versus kind of consumers, is the need to get with you behind your firewalls to help you make Surface incredibly reliable and help make your employees productive in your environment. Like one of the conversations I have quite a lot with customers, they're like, hey, it's great that you show me all this awesome data about productivity, but I need to have that data inside of my organization. I need the tools, and I need your help analyzing the data sometimes so I can go back and say, hey, because we put a Surface Hub in, when we look at our telemetry, we see our employees are 2 to 3 times more engaged. We see meetings actually have more participants. We see more hands on the board, which means more active participation, giving you the telemetry to then go back to talk about how you're enabling more creativity. So that's what I see your head nodding, so I'm assuming that's resonating a little bit. So we have one of our most senior engineers, Ali Algan, he's working on how do we help you inside of your environments with some new tools and capabilities. So more to come on this front in terms of giving you some stuff to measure there. But it's one of the shifts as we thought about the commercial customer more and more and more in the Surface journey. Now we think about them first and foremost. You should expect more for us to help you on that front.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're back down there.
Thank you.
Good morning. The question I have is around accessibility. I don't actually work with that department. I work for a relatively well-known insurance and banking company, USAA, for anyone who may be members here. Thank you. And being disabled myself since birth, with a hearing loss and some vision problems, I find myself really emphasizing with the accessibility community. And so I saw the dial the other day in the immersion experience, and I was curious. So we use Citrix and VMs for our mobile workforce, and the Surface, as we integrate it, if we integrate it, would be not a thin client, but an access point. And so I wanted to ask about the dial and Windows 10 accessibility features working in conjunction with Citrix to provide a better zoomed experience for some of our visually disabled membership and customers.
Sure. Do you want to take that one?
Well, I think we're going to need to find someone who can go really deep with you on that, because that is both, over both Paul and I. So come up afterwards, let's get your card, and then we have folks here at the show we can connect you with if you're able to make it over to the experiences.
Yeah.
So,
and thank you for bringing this topic.
Yeah.
It's such an incredibly important topic.
Yeah.
It's one we care deeply about. Two quick things I'll say. The Surface Dial, when we talk about that consistency experience, it's designed to work across our portfolio. So like the new Surface Pro works with the Surface Dial. Second, we've made that programmable. So any ISV can go through and program what the capabilities the dial has inside of any given application. So if you're in an art application, it works for tools. If you're in an engineering application. So the potential to make it work incredibly well in the accessibility is there and from a design perspective. And then we should just dig in on the Citrix side a little bit more and what that would look like.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Do you have any more?
You know what? God dang it, I do. Come here. Hey, and I appreciate you asking that question because it's such an important one. So thank you so much. Thank you. And tell me what you think. You got to let me know, okay? All right. Thanks. All right.
I think we're back down
there
at that end. Yeah.
Hi, this thing on? I work at FFRDC. As we're actually managed by a university, we get the best of both worlds. We're not all guns and bullets. We're a lot of guns and bullets, but also we have the direct interaction with the university, and so all eyes are on us. Not much pressure there as to like what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're already involving ourselves in the Surface and the Surface Hub integrations to the point where we will get funded. This is my new Surface phone, by the way, in my mind. What I'm looking at is we're immersing ourselves in the experiences here. We're getting into all the hardware. We're beyond the point now, and just ask your HoloLens folks, talk to your Xbox people. It's far time that the devices immerse themselves in us. We're looking at, we talked about the pens, we talked about the pucks and all those interfaces. We need more gesture support. I'm just, thinking in terms of the phone, how this is this is already the next step in that type of human interaction. The next human interface device is the human. And so, as much as that, and without violating any trust about the phone or what you might be doing with camera technology and whatnot, can you tell us what we're doing for gesture support, real gesture support, not just this tug and twisty stuff, but actual interactive office experience, bring it to life type stuff. You see a number of the hubs. I'd like to have seen more of those at the show. Tell them that I said so next year.
Yes, sir.
And these, and I don't think they were done justice. These are not desk clocks. These are participants in your office experience, in your creative experience, and they need to be interacting. You can't ignore them. So what can we do for
That's great.
just hands-on, but hands-off type interaction that way?
Yeah.
So in the lab, I mean, again, this is, you're taking, I can't say what's going to come roadmap-wise. We get to see things in labs.
I won't tell no one.
Yeah. Yes, but he will.
Yeah.
And so anything you can imagine, that's probably the best way to answer this around, because again, we get that the mice and keyboard, that was a stage, right? And the sooner that fades away, the better it's going to be, because people don't go around talking to people using mice and keyboards in person. And so all of these ways of how do you use natural gestures, right? I talk with my hands a ton, right? How do I use this then to interact with, to manipulate with? So just, you're going to have to stay tuned. All these things you're talking about, I've seen stuff like that and more in the labs. But what will come and when it will come, we will find out together.
Yeah. So we are the labs. So.
Okay.
So we're out of time, apparently.
Great. So we'll, so I know there's some of you queued up, if you have questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll either convene up here or maybe in the back, and we'll answer everyone's questions in the time. For those of you who hung out and stayed, like you guys are the road warriors, thank you. Maybe it's just a comfy seat, I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to thank these guys for being up here, and thank you guys. Thank you so much.